Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Kelvis Podcast. I'm back in the studio. I got my brother Tyson here, a good friend. Met him a while back with RJ. We was doing a project together. Met him at the Stinger game, and then we brought him on, help us with Real Reckless. So a good friend of the family, good friend of the team. Appreciate you coming out today, podcasting with me, man. Just sit down and have a conversation, man. So, man, tell me where you been, what you been up to, man. Cause I ain't seen you in a while. I seen you on social media. I seen you doing, y'all doing the pastor thing. I think your wife got ordained and stuff.
Ministers, yeah.
Ministers, both of y'all, man. So let's talk about your journey, man. Where you been at? What you been up to, bro?
Since I seen you guys last, there's been a lot going on. My wife was pregnant.
Okay.
We lost a child. She actually delivered him, but it was
Stillborn.
stillborn. Yeah, man. It's I will say this, man. That's probably one of the craziest things I ever seen before. To see like a baby hanging out of her, but it's not alive in the middle of the night. So that was crazy. But that happened. So now she's pregnant again.
Congratulations.
And she's about. She told me the other day. She's about 4 months.
Yeah.
She's due in May 1st.
Okay.
So, that's a wonderful thing. That's a blessing from God, man,
Yeah.
because now we've been put in the hands of the right doctors.
Right.
I will say that makes a big importance.
Oh yeah.
Being in the hands of the right doctors, because we was in the hands of the wrong ones before, obviously. But yeah, so like I said, she's pregnant again. Back at the school, man, doing what some people would call ISS, but we call it RJC, Restorative Justice. But yeah, man. So I've been doing that. We started basketball league, man, with some guy, with a guy I know, with a young lady. Coaching again. So just been trying to balance it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's wonderful, man. So let's talk about, man, because it just to go back in time, man. So you first met RJ, and I first met you through RJ. You was doing film work for the team, right? You were doing media, right? Or something to that effect.
Right. So I kind of want to rewind a little bit. My fault. Kind of want to rewind a little bit on how I met RJ.
Okay.
So when I first heard about Fayetteville Stingers, I was like, man, the TBL. Like I knew about the TBL from my podcast. So when I was doing my podcast,
okay,
a guy from the TBL, Louisville Leopards, he reached out to me. Hey man, I want to be a sponsor, y'all. I'm like, huh? I thought it was a joke at first.
Okay.
So I want to sponsor y'all, give you a certain amount of money just to talk about our games. Okay, cool. So we did that. And so I knew about the TBL when the Fayetteville Stingers came.
Oh, that's cool.
I reached out to the owner. I won't say his name, but I reached out to the owner to try and get to be a part of what they had going on.
Yeah.
No answer. Once I realized that I knew Coach Don Gardner, I know he's been on here before.
Oh, yeah.
Once I realized I knew Coach Don, I reached out to Coach Don. I said, hey man, I would love to just get you, on here. I just asked him. I said, can I get you to come on here on my show and just talk to you, you know what I'm saying, about league? He was like, you know what? I'm gonna come. I'm gonna bring everybody with me. So he brought the owners, the GM, the other coach, Robert Bricky. So they all came, man, and we did that. And after that, man, I kind of was like a staple in the Fayetteville Stingers organization, but I really didn't have a role. So they was like, you know what? We want to link you up with this guy, RJ. He's gonna be, Robert. He's gonna be doing our media. Yeah. He's gonna be doing the streams. So that's how we met, man. And I think right off the bat, me and him I learned a lot from him. I don't know if he realized that or not. But I learned a lot about cameras. I learned a lot about what to do, what not to do. So I learned a lot of that stuff from RJ, man. I got to give him credit. He's great at what he does, man. When it comes to the media, and all that stuff, man. So I was able to meet him, and then he started saying, I got this other podcast I'm gonna be doing, Real Reckless, and that's when I started meeting you guys. Yeah. Even though I had met you at a
hometown. You was there tonight. I got my hometown.
Yeah, but you did some type of seminar at a.
Yeah, when we did a legend.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
MC Sweets. That's when I probably first met you. Yeah.
That's it.
So that's when I first met you. So I went in. I was recording that, and I was picking up pieces of how you guys do it and all that too while I was there. So.
Yeah, that's right, man. Man. Then me and RJ been together for a long time, man, and. Yeah, we did a lot of projects together, man. We've been a lot of projects, man. So, like, getting back to you, man, you my guest. So how you been able to balance, man? You had your own podcast, so you definitely know the role that you've been on this side of the seat, you've been on both sides of the seat. How did you balance all that? And at one time you was at the school, then you moved into sell a car because you sold RJ his
Mhm,
car.
sold
And
his
I
car,
see,
yeah.
I mean, I'll be following you on Facebook. I see what you've been
Yeah.
doing and you know, the ministry, you and your wife and all that. How did you balance all that? How did you make all those transitions?
Very understanding family. I'll say that. I know my wife be sick of be sick of me sometimes, man, because I can't. I don't know if it's the ADHD or what is, but I can't, like, me and my mom talked about this the other day. She's like, yeah, Tyrus, he can't sit still. He can't just
Yeah.
be nowhere and just sit still. And then she told my wife, she said that's just not him. You know what I mean? So I mean that's kind of the thing, man. It's kind of like it works with it, but as far as balancing it goes, man, I give it all to God, man. That he give me the ability and the bandwidth to be able to do all these things, man.
Right.
Because like you said, man, that's one reason why I had to stop selling cars. It just takes too much of my day, man. You go in at 9 o'clock, you're not getting off to 8 most nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you there from, we call it bell to bell. You there from bell to bell, and you just, hoping somebody come through and buy a car, or
Right.
you.
You was at what, CarMax?
No, I was at a classic Nissan in Sanford.
Okay. Okay.
Classic Nissan in
Yeah,
Sanford.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was there for about probably like 4 months, and then I was at a Reliar Fayetteville. Reliar Chevrolet. Yeah.
Okay. What was your experience with the different dealerships?
So the cool thing about Classic is it's a black owned. Uh, the guy that owns it, David Mills, he owns about, man, I think it's like 30 something dealerships.
Oh,
Yeah, he owns a lot of different dealerships. So the one thing I liked about working there for is, let's say you come in and you say, hey man, I want a G wagon, or I want I don't know, Bentley Continental, whatever you say you want it, we can pull from other stores' inventory. So every store he owns,
right.
they all we got one big website, and you go in there and you could just, like, that's how I found RJ his car. He came to me, he said, Ty, I want a Y model Tesla. I said, all right. I went, I found, I think it was in Hampton, Virginia. We went, we sent our drivers to Hampton, Virginia. They came back with the car. So that's the great thing. We call it dealer trades.
Right.
So, sometimes they might just give us the car, but sometimes they might say, you know what, we're going to give you this wild model Tesla, but we want, something you got on your lot. As long as it ain't brand new, we give it to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? We just trade back and forth.
Trade, that's cool.
So that was the great thing about working there. But, the bad thing was sometimes when you got cars from other dealerships, you don't necessarily know the condition of them.
Right.
Like a RJ car, when we first got it, his rims was they had been curved.
Oh wow!
But we didn't see that from the pictures.
Right.
So we got it. I set him up. They got a dope rim guy that come through. I don't even know his name, but he come through, man. You can't tell. You look at the car now, you can't tell.
Right.
But sometimes it's like that. I had another customer. They got a car, and like the piece on the bumper on the back, like, just came off. We had to order a new one or whatever. But so I mean, so it's like just stuff like that. Sometimes you just don't know the condition of the cars. Everybody don't take care of their cars the way we took care of ours. So that was, I guess, the great thing about working there.
So real cool. Me and you were talking earlier, and you was talking about how don't go and tell them where you go back to what you were talking about. Don't tell them this.
So look, all my car salesmen gonna be mad at me when I say this.
You're gonna drop some knowledge on the Kelvis podcast today for y'all very sharp for a car. It's gonna be 2025, so everybody making a New Year resolution. They want to live some new cars.
Look, car guys, don't take this personal. But whenever you go in the dealership, don't tell them where you want to be at.
Right.
Don't say, I just want to be at 500. Don't say that, because the reason being is they'll get you to 500.
Right.
But you could have been at maybe 450, or you could have been at 425.
Yeah.
You just won't know, because sometimes let's say, I'll give an example. So let's say you come in there, you say, yeah, I want this, I don't know, I want this Toyota Camry, but I want to be at $500, right? And then they'll say, okay, cool. So they might put the thing in, and it might say you could be at 450 at 5%. But if they put it at 8%, you be at $499.
Okay.
He said he wanted to be under 500.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
You $1 up.
Right. hey, Mr. Kelvis, Kelvis, right here, I got you. You said you want to be under 500.
Yeah.
I got you, dog. $499.
$499.
Sign. You gonna say, oh, $499?
Yeah.
No, I don't. What percentage is that?
Right.
Oh, 10%. No, you can take that back. I don't want that.
Right.
Yeah. Go in there and tell them what percentage you want to be at. I want to be at 6. That's what my good credit folks. My bad credit folks, I don't, you might just have to
suck it up.
You might just have to take that $499, 10%.
Yeah.
But yeah, my good credit folks, tell them, hey, I want to be at 5%, 6%. And then from that, judge based off the value of the car. I mean, if you at If you buy a $50,000 car, you're gonna be at $1,000 a month.
Right.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah. So man, so like I said, you had your own podcast. Let's talk about that, man, because that's near, of course, I'm a podcaster, and that's near dear to my heart. I've been in this game for a little while now, a few years, and so it was interesting when you said to me, and I didn't know that about, how the guy reached out to you for your podcast and talk about, the team and whatnot. So talk to me about your journey in the podcast side of the house.
So the podcasting part is so I got 15 years in restaurant management experience. You might not know that,
No,
but I got 15 years of restaurant management experience. And that was all I knew from, I started at Papa John's when I was 18, answering the phone. So for young people,
yeah,
the weirdest thing is this. So I started Papa John's answering the phone at 18. I was terrible. I was trash. I was the worst. I used to get sent home. I'd go to work, be there for 15 minutes. They send me home. Let's go home. You're bad. And but over a period of time, I was going to college at the time. I was at Fayetteville Tech, and I was like, man, I'm not college material. I'm not college material. I don't want to go into the military. God, what can I do?
Right.
I don't know what I can do because I'm not going in the military. This college thing, I'm not going to class. Most days I hope my mom not watching this, but most days I went to the school. She dropped me off at the school because I wasn't driving. She dropped me off at the school, man. I go sit in the cab and cut the food with the homies.
So you hang out.
Yeah. So I wasn't even going to class. I'm gonna be honest. Mom's Dukes was dropping me off. I was not going to class.
That's crazy.
I think I might have passed 1 or 2 classes. I think I was in 4 or 5 classes. I won't pass in class, but so I'm like, man, working at Papa John's. They come out with this new system. Make a long story short, they come out with this new system. And I was watching them while they was training the GM. So I'm watching them, they training the GM. I said, okay, cool. I caught on to it so fast, I taught him how to do it. I taught the GM how to do it. Right. They said, you know what? You want to go to another store and learn how to do it? Teach them how to do it? So I started going to other stores teaching everybody.
Okay.
And
so you got into the training side of it.
Right. So I was like, okay, I'm figuring this out. I got real good at it. So I started getting better at the other stuff, making pizzas, all that. And so one day, I used to go up to the job when I was bored. So I go up to the job one day, I'm chilling. I see the owner walk in. Okay. See the district manager walk in. It's a true story now. See the district manager, won't call him. He walk in. They go in the back. They fire the manager. He back there with his feet kicked up on the thing, and they fired him. I don't want to say what he did, but they fired him. And I'm standing up there. And they're like, "Who know how to do everything?" I raised my hand. Yeah, I know how to do everything though. But I raised my hand. I said, "Yeah, I know how to do everything," and I've been a manager ever since.
Hey man, time and place, perfect time and place, man.
And I said, and I figured it out.
Fake it till you make it.
Right, and I said, thank you, Lord. You answered my prayers because now I'm gonna be a manager. I ain't got to go to school.
Yeah.
So I did that for 15 years, and 2020, COVID came. I was working at the I forget which golf course it is, but I worked at not the one that they had the uptowns at. I worked at the other golf course. I forgot what it's called.
Striker?
Yeah. Okay. So I worked there, and I was like trained to be assistant manager. And when COVID came, I had just probably been working. I started working in October. So COVID, February, they shut the joint down. Right. And then when they opened it back up, they said, "You the newest person that we just hired. No more job."
Wow. So
I was unemployed for a little bit. But during that process, my wife got her total and permanent from the military. 100% total and permanent. Right. You can go to school now. I said, "Oh, for real?" So I said, okay. Me and my boys, we planned on Facebook talking about sports.
Right.
Talking about sports. My homeboy say, "Hey, you know what? We should do this as a podcast." I'm like, man, nobody don't want to listen to us talk. He like, "Nah, for real." So we made a little Facebook group. It was like 8 or 9 of us in the Facebook group. Only like 6 of us ended up starting to do it. So we did that, man, and we started doing it. I said, man, I got to learn about this. I started learning about Zoom and StreamYard and all these different places. And I just really started to master and I started to get into it. So my wife was like, you can still go to school. And I'm like, okay.
She done said it a couple times.
I'm like, what can I go to school for? I'm like, you know what? Sports broadcasting.
Okay.
That's what I want. That's what originally, when I was going to Fayetteville Tech, my plan was to transfer and go to Pembroke. They got a great communications program.
And school and my grand chapter out of Pembroke. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that was my plan. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. So around 2021, what was it? 20? Yeah, we did the podcast 2020. Yeah, did it for a while, and then around 2021, I started working at the school. My pastor, she calls me. She like, cause I was doing COVID. You know, kids weren't going to school.
Right.
So we had we turned our church into like community center. A lot of the people that went to the church, they just dropped their kids off.
Wow.
And she kind of just watched over them. And I would go. That's back when the school was giving out the lunches. You go.
Right.
I'll go grab. Oh, we got 10 kids. I go grab 10 lunches, take them to the school.
Right.
She's like, Tiras, you great with kids. I'm like, I guess I don't know. She's like, you ever thought about being a safe school coordinator? I'm like, what is that? She's like, well, you just kids get in trouble, you take them, you do this, you do that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Mm-hmm. So she was like, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give the application. I'm like, man, I don't know how to do this. She like, come to my house. She helped me fill out. That's what I'm saying. Great pastor. I can't never say nothing bad about my pastor. She said, come to my house. She pretty much did the application for me.
Yeah.
And she showed me how to turn it in. I turned it in. Next day they called me. I said, what the? Hello? So I ended up getting a job at Spring Lake Middle School. And like I said, so I was doing all that. I was doing Spring Lake Middle School, podcast. Mm-hmm. Then I said, man, I got so much time, go back to school. So I went back to school, sport broadcaster. Graduated last year, last October, with my bachelor's in sports broadcasting, man. And
congratulations.
Yeah. And during that time, I did an internship at ESPN.
Okay.
So
that's awesome, man. How was the internship in there?
It was different. It was great. It was a great opportunity. Being selected for something. Mm-hmm. I think they said they get six digits applications. They only pick like 30 people.
Wow.
So they get like upwards of 100,000 applications. They pick like 30 people. It was great. It was just at home. It was virtual, so I didn't get to go to ESPN. Right. So I did get to go to the one in Charlotte once. It's one in Charlotte. A lot of people don't know that, but I did get to go to that when I met Takeo Spikes, some other dude. Can't think of the dude's name now. But I did get to meet some people, and then the coolest part was I got to talk to every major producer of every network show. So I talked to the major producer of First Take. I talked to the producer of what's the day basketball show with Big Perk and all that. So I got to talk to almost everybody. College Game Day. So it was a great experience. And like I said, man, if I would have never started podcasting, I probably would have never started even thinking to do that.
Right. So you just kind of learned it on. You just started out with an idea, you and some fellas, and got the podcast. That's kind of how I did. I had, at that point in my life, I was at a certain point. I felt like, hey, there was enough. And to be honest, I didn't research it. I was like, hey, man, I don't feel like there's enough people out here talking about podcasts. And they probably was. I didn't research it. And I said, hey, man, I started out on Facebook too, just, sharing my ideas and thoughts. And then I shared the story many times before I reached out to one of the brothers in our church. He was kind of reminded me of you a little bit. He was in IT, you know what I'm saying? He'd been, made some choices in life and had this, had to do some time. But he was smart, man, when it comes to, media stuff. Yeah. And he did a lot of stuff in the church for media. And I got him to do some work for me. I had a landscaping company. So I started a landscaping company to help people that couldn't go out here and necessarily get a real good job based on, past events, right? And so long story short, so I called him one day and I said, man, I want to start a podcast. I don't know nothing about podcasts, nothing. And he said, man, go to Archer. Yeah, he said, because it's sponsored by Spotify. He said, you can do everything free up there. You can upload your podcast and get it out there. And so that's what I started doing. And I had different people shoot my podcast up too. One of my coworkers introduced me to RJ. He said, hey, man, I got a guy, Ty. Ty. And he put me in contact with RJ. And, man, it's been here ever since. I've been over on this side of the house. But so, yeah, it's always great to talk to somebody that started out kind of neutral ground like me, had an idea, At that time, I ain't know about the niche and none of that, until I got, I grew a little bit, mentorships, and I wrote the book. So I didn't know a whole lot about podcasting. So it seemed like, man, God just favored you, man. He's brought you to many different things and just opened up doors for you. You know what I'm saying? So working in the school, working with those kids, what's been your experience and what knowledge you can drop on the podcast about working with kids that are at-risk kids or I don't know the proper word to use.
Man, I would say this: these kids different, man. Like, man, they. Let me try to think where to start. I mean, it's cool. So working with the kids, I would say this: working with the kids and coaching is a great experience. That's the first part.
Right.
The second part is parenting has went downhill. That's the one. That's the main thing I'll say that I take away from it. Like the same, a lot of values that was instilled in us.
Right.
They're just people just don't instill them in their kids anymore. And in this generation, when I say this generation, I mean my generation or whatever generation you want to consider. But a lot of stuff they don't do no more. So like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people don't see the importance of school no more. So they're telling their kids, just go and don't worry about it. But I don't think they realize how the effect that has on educators,
Right.
the effect that has on someone like me. Like like I said, I went from safe school coordinator to doing ISS/RJC, and so all I really come in contact with is kids that's in trouble.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't really get to see the other side that often. And I mean, you got some great kids out there. Not to say that the ones that get in trouble are bad kids. They're not.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of them, they just haven't been. That relationship hasn't been
Cultivated.
It hasn't been cultivated. Hasn't been cultured.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just I would say now we live in an era where most kids, when they go home, everybody's in the house in their own space. Like they be in their room, their
Right.
parents be in their
Right.
room.
Yeah.
Wherever this person, they're like, people, they're not coming to the dinner table. Everybody eating, everybody grabbing their food and going in their room or whatever. So
Mhm.
what I mean, it's just different, and it shows in the school, man. Like when I just talk to certain kids, like I got on one kid because he just I have them call their teachers a lot of times to do their homework and not homework but their schoolwork. So let's say they give you some math work, right, and you don't understand it. I tell them, get on the phone by your teacher. They get that. They do this. Hey, Mr. Tann, I don't understand this work.
No specifics, just don't understand.
And I'm looking like, okay, how does Mr. Tann know who you are?
Mhm.
Start by saying, "Hey, how you doing? This is hey, how you doing, Mr. Tann? This is Tiras, and I wasn't in class for this work, and I don't understand how to do it. Can you? Is there like a video you could point me towards, or is there something you could tell me that would help me out?"
Mhm.
That's the way you do. You don't just call and start talking. They don't know who you are.
Right.
They probably got 30 kids in class and they got 4 classes. So they probably got 120 kids.
Right.
A science or social studies teacher might have more than that.
Hmm.
So it's like, it's just stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just basic stuff like that we knew that hey, good morning, or, something, you know what I mean? Like, that's when I told them, I said, these teachers, like, you still have to kind of, I ain't gonna say kids behind, because I don't do that. But I mean, treat them like people, I guess. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of the struggle that we struggle with, trying to understand them. I'm pretty sure our parents and our educators went through the same thing, trying to relate. I can't relate to some of the stuff, the music,
Right.
The twin, Like I had a boy call me Unc today. I told him to do something. He's like, all right, you got it, Unc. I said, who are you talking to?
Right.
He like, you go? I said, no, I ain't your Unc, bro. Like, I mean, I'm not your Unc. You know what I mean? I'm not your bruh. I'm not your Unc. I'm Mr. Ray. So if you want to ask a question, raise your hand, Mr. Ray, and I'll do the best I can to answer.
Right. Well, you have that kind of statue that kind of pause about you, man. It kind of says, "Hey, you're not going to just dress me," because everybody have seen these videos of teachers getting beat in the school, or they're trying to break up a fight and then they getting beat up or jumped on, or
Hey, look, I done got hit before. I was breaking up a fight. I probably was like, because you got to think, when I first started at Spring Lake, I probably was like, I started when there was no kids in the building. So I started in like October. I know it feels like I started everything in October, but I started in October.
That may be your butt.
The kids ain't come back till probably March or something like that. It's like whenever they came back.
So it's like a year-round school or something.
No, the kids it was virtual.
Oh, still virtual.
Yeah, it was virtual.
Okay.
So it was virtual until like that March, I want to say.
Okay.
And when they first came back, it was on like some AB schedule, where like half the kids come on Monday.
I remember that.
Monday to the other half come on Thursday and Friday, and then Wednesday we do like a mental health day or something. They did bring that back, but but we doing that, and then in April it was like full swing kids being in the building. So once the kids was in the building, it's probably like the second or third day with all the kids, and these girls just break out and start fighting, and I never broke up no fight like that before. I just run in and grab the one girl. And I grabbed her, and then I realized, like, oh snap, I kind of messed up, and I took a punch. You know what I mean? It was light. You know what I mean? It won't.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, it won't nothing like I'm about to call the people and say she got to go. She hit me. Nah, I won't nothing. I put myself in a bad situation. I took it. I took it.
Man, you know what? I tell I got a couple people I know, in school, elementary, middle school. Matter of fact, Miss Vanessa Kelly, she's over at Alpha Academy.
Okay.
I think she's a middle school principal, and I know from talking to her through text messages and whatnot, she's filling multiple roles right now as we speak. But I'll say to anybody, man, I take my hat off to school teachers, man, because I couldn't do it. I was born in '73, man. I was born here in North Carolina, where hey, my grandma, everybody beat you. The whole community beat you. They kept you doing something. Hey, whoever caught you beat you. My great grandma beat me. Then my mama beat me. You know, my aunt, whoever, man. So these days and times, man, and I got a 13-year-old girl, be 14 is in middle school now. He'll be a freshman when school start by 2025, and so um, yeah, and just hearing the stories of him going, coming home from school, telling say, "Dad, this happened, that happened," or just things that he's been involved in. Thank God, nothing serious. We had to go out to the school one day because kids were picking on him because he wore nice clothes and had nice shoes on, and they were picking on him, man. As a father, hey, I'm not going for that. So we go out and talk to the principal. His mom's like, "Nah, let me do the talking because you hot right now."
Yeah.
So
That's not that. Me and my wife is flip.
yeah.
I have to do the talking
Well, okay.
because she be ready to knock somebody upside the head.
Right. So yeah. So man, to all the teachers out there, all the people in the field of teaching, I salute you because that's a job that hey, I, I don't think I can do. I can do it, but I
right.
just my nerves.
It's one of those things you gotta love it to do it. Like it's no like teaching is to me. This is my opinion. It's not a job to where you're doing it for the check. You got some people that come in and
Right.
like fresh out of college, like let me get this little. I ain't got nothing else to do. Let me get this little check.
Right.
First of all, it is little. It's a little check.
Oh yeah.
So let's get that part straight. But second, man, you're not going to last if you don't love it. Like you really have to love the kids. Like I I think I'm about as Fayetteville as they come. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Fayetteville. Graduated from Westover High School.
Okay.
I just love Fayetteville, and any opportunity I get, to help kids
Right.
from Fayetteville, Spring Lake, Hope Mills, that Fayetteville area, any opportunity I get, I'm gonna do it, man. We got so much going on right now. My church, we're doing a coat drive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, winter drive more like it. So hats, scarves, coats.
Okay.
I'm missing something. Hats, scarves, coats, blankets. So we're doing that for the kids. We doing some hygiene stuff where we're gonna be giving back some hygiene products, man. To toothpaste, toothbrush, deodorant, tampon, whatever you want to call it, I don't know all that stuff, but tampons and all that stuff. So we try to do so much for the community, man. Every year we partner with Spring Lake Middle School, and we at least do 10 kids that's not going to get a Christmas as at risk or whatever. So we try to do so much, man. I try to do as much as I can, man. Sometimes my wife, she might be like, Tiras, you're doing a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, I didn't have everything growing up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to sit here and say I grew up rough or nothing like that. Because that wasn't the case. My parents did their best.
Right.
With what we had. But I will say this, of course, I always feel like, I could have wanted more. You know what I mean? Could have had more. And some of the things I couldn't have. But, on my watch, I want the kids to get what they deserve, man. And some of them do. And the crazy part is it seems like some of the best behaved kids are the ones that don't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's the ones that do have. And, you got, of course, you run into some that, that don't have. And that's the reason why they're cutting up. But
yeah, at Belton, we used to do a few years back. We did a lot of stuff in spring, like every Wednesday night we would go pick up, man, at least 30, 40 kids, especially in the trailer park back behind Walmart.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All back in there.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
People bring their kids there, and it was kind of like a mini, I'll say Sunday school on Wednesday. But what we did was we would cook a meal. We would even bring the parents, let the parents come eat, and then we would send them home with enough perishable, like those little. I think they have in school. Maybe they gave them out. Don't cover. It had juice. It had something they could put in the microwave or even
Right.
kind of cold and stuff like that. And we would send them home with enough perishable foods that would last them for a few days. And I know some schools did that. That those kids were at risk. They would send them home over the weekend or stuff like that.
They do that at spring. Like
Yeah.
Miss Smalls, man. Shout out to Miss Smalls.
Okay.
She's great with that. We got a couple churches that we partner with. They come. I forgot what they call it though. But they come drop them off. It's like big bags. I'm talking about it, man. Look, I done grabbed a couple of them bags a couple times. I'm in need too. I done grabbed a couple of them bags, boy. And what I do is I take the stuff I like out of there, then I'll give it to a kid eventually, because they be wanting the noodles, and I don't want that. But they be wanting the noodles and be all kind of stuff. Maybe all kind of stuff in there. Like be some good stuff. Nutri-Grain bars, Pop Tarts, chips, canned goods, Beyond salt. You know what I'm saying? Be all kind of stuff in there for them to have. And that, like I said, that's a great thing, man. We even it's just so many different things. And to me, that's what the church needs to be about. You know what I mean? It should be about taking care of the community. You know what I mean? Like taking care of kids.
Church of the community.
Yeah. And that's what it should be about. And I feel like some churches have kind of gotten away from it. It's gotten too glitzy, too glamour, too social media. And I think that's what I know that's what the church needs to get back to, because, and my pastor said this yesterday at a church, people ain't trying to hear you talking about Jesus if they're hungry.
You're right.
You know what I mean? If I'm sitting there and I ain't got a pot, but my grandma would say a pot to piss in, or one to throw it out, and you come on and talking about Jesus, man, I'm not trying to hear that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Help me with my life.
Right.
If I'm hungry, help me get something to eat. If I need, we crazy thing was Miss Small, she had where the kids got haircuts. We did haircuts. We had like 4 or 5 barbers come, set them up in the media center.
Right.
And they cut. We got kids who fill out a little permission slip, and the kids gonna get a cut. It means the edge up, like that just does a lot for your self-esteem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kids the kids got their hoods on tied around tight. Why? Because they head nappy, or because they need an edge up, or because they need a retwist. You know what I mean? So we try to work on something now to do for the girls.
Okay.
So maybe we can get somebody. I don't know how to, but maybe they come through and put some kinky twist or something.
Yeah. I know
something. You know what I mean?
I know a couple people. Chelsea.
Okay. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's on Real Reckless, yeah.
Yeah, Real Reckless. She's matter of fact, she's coming Wednesday, and she works with a young lady. Can't think of her name now, but Jaleesa. She does lots of stuff like that. So maybe after this, at some point we'll make sure we got your numbers, and I'll try to definitely put you in contact with her, and then if y'all need. Maybe she can come in and do stuff like, cause she does stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she knows a lot of people in the have business period in Fayetteville. She's a great resource for that. So man, cause like I said, man, I like giving back to the community, and I like being part of the organization, give back to the community, because like you said, the church is declining, and I know in the AMZ's where they did a lot of research, like why is the young people from 18 to 35 or not coming back to church or whatever the case might be, and a lot of it. The people not coming back to the church because you're not in the community. They don't see you in the community trying to make their life better and showing them, how coming to God can make your life better.
All they're hearing is time, money.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I definitely can relate to that. We can talk all day about that, man. But my next question to you too, man. So when you finally sit down, man, you put your whistle down, man, you put your camera down, you put your educational hat off. You're never gonna leave ministry because that's in you. You're gonna always spread the word of God. But when you kind of just get to that point where you say, you know what, I done put in 50, 60 good years of hard work across the board. What do you want? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to remember you?
I want my legacy to be, when I said I was gonna do something, I did it. If I told a kid I was gonna get him a pair of shoes, or whatever I said I wanted to be, that I did it, man. I don't want to be looked at. It's too many people in this community, man, that's scamming folks, that's promising people stuff. Like, I don't, and I'm not saying every time I said I'm gonna do something, I did it 100%, but it ain't no 50%. It's probably 98.99 or something like that. So that's what I want to be remembered as, man. A good man, a good God-fearing man that always did stuff for the community, and that always was there when I was needed. Good friend, a good husband, a good son, a good uncle, a good. I don't want nobody to be able to say I did them dirty, and if I did, it had to be a long time ago. You know what I mean?
So how do you balance all of it? I think it kind of said it earlier, but kind of going back to how do you balance being, you and your wife both in the ministry and balance all the things that you have going on.
I think you have to set boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, I still make sure that we do a date night once a month at the least.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I know we got date night coming up this weekend. I think we're going to see Gladiator 2.
Oh yeah, that's good.
So definitely, even though neither one of us seen Gladiator 1, but Denzel is in it. So
Yeah,
that's a great thing. But I would say boundaries, man. Like, I'm just trying to. I know that, and I think she knows this, that my heart is in the right place when it comes to her, when it comes to our kids, when it comes to the stuff I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do it so I could be like, yeah, we fed this many kids, or we did this and we did that. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it because, you know, I might have been that kid had things not gone the way it went. You know what I mean? It's so many situations that occurred in my life, and I tell kids this all the time. I went to alternative school.
Oh really?
In
Okay.
7th grade. I went the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in so many situations that could have turned out differently if it had not been for God.
Right.
And it had not been for Him, like you said, having favor.
Right.
In my life and having favor in my parents' life, and you know what I mean, and
it slows down.
Right, and the favor of me finding my wife. It's crazy how I found her. Like, it's not even like we met on Facebook.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't meet their wife like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I was somebody that was in her inbox, and she kind of turned me down for a while, and then I don't know, one day I was like, let's go to dinner. No, I've had some. Let's go to lunch. Okay. Right.
You was on it.
And this is probably like on a Friday, so we
Uh-huh.
go to Bonefish Grill.
Okay.
And man, we probably hung out for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I remember the next day, it was an Oak Hill game I went to with my homeboy, and I told her, I said, pull up. She ain't pull up. And that was probably the last time. That Saturday was probably the last time I ain't see her every day. From that point, like that Sunday, the next day, I think we met, and from that point, that Sunday, and that was in 2017, November 11th or November 3rd, something like that.
Yeah.
2017.
We won't hold you to a second.
Right. Yeah. So from that day to now,
yeah.
We've been together ever since.
Yeah.
So
you wore it down, huh?
Pretty much. And the craziest part is she worked in the doctor's office I was going to, and I didn't know that because she may have not been there the last time I went. But man, if I had been to the doctor's office, I would have seen her eventually. But it may not have worked out the way it did. And
right.
Like I say, it just it worked out. And I do remember this. I had to tell her, hey, look, I need about a week to get my affairs in order. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, I got you. Say less. Say less. I understand. I'm definitely getting what you put down.
I got some situations going
on.
And before I commit to this situation,
right.
I got about I need about a week to tie up some loose ends.
I understand. We all been there.
Yeah.
We all been there. And then, so what year did y'all get married?
2018 we got married. Yeah, 2018 we got married. August.
Okay.
25th. 23rd. August 23rd.
All right, man. Look, man. Hey, don't call me hey, Ted, my wife watched it. She was like, hey, man, you don't remember my day.
So we met in November. Yeah. We got, and it like I said, man, I tell people this all the time. Like, it don't take 2-3 years to figure out you want to marry somebody.
Okay.
It took me literally, we met in November. I think I proposed in April. Okay. It didn't take me long I knew, like, the weird part is I had been engaged 3 or 4 times before we got engaged. So I knew exactly what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? She checked every box. So I was like, oh yeah. After like 2-3 months, oh yeah, this is gonna be my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I'm glad because you just moved right in, smooth transitioning by not next line of question. It ain't using my for normally. RJ sent me the questions to ask, but just like I said, we had a relationship and we known each other, been around each other for a little while. Like I said, I track you on Facebook. I've been on there seeing what you up to. So would you say your love have conditions?
What you mean?
Do your love have conditions? So here's the thing, right? So a lot of watching different clips or whatever, because I used to ask people, what unconditional love means. And I still understand that question as well. But I had a young lady came on here, matter of fact, Angie Marks, and then
Oh yeah, I know exactly.
yeah, and she said, yeah, my love have conditions. Because I asked, I said, what unconditional love mean to you, right? And pretty much baseline men and women is pretty much very very similar. You might word it a little different, but when she said, but my love have conditions, so wow. So I guess love does have. So the question is, do your love have conditional, and what do unconditional love mean to you?
I'll start with the second question. Unconditional love means to me, like, regardless of what a person going through, you gonna love them. If they ain't got no job, you gonna love them. If they ain't got no car, you gonna love them. If they wake up in the morning, their breath stink, you still gonna love them. You know, you might have some guys. Hey man, I finally seen her without her wig on.
Or makeup.
Right. Which the reason why I never really, if you look at anybody I ever talk to, they ain't wearing no wig or no. That's too much maintenance for me to keep up with. I can't do that. So if you want to say that has conditions, then it probably does. But that's what unconditional love means to me. At the first sight of an issue, because life is in cycles. You know, I might have money today. Tomorrow I might not have it.
Right.
I might be the man in 2024.
Right.
But in 2023, I was messed up. I might have made a bad investment.
True.
I might have threw all my money in Bitcoin.
Right. No, well, that go to bad.
Right. No, but yeah, nowadays. But I'm saying right now they up. We up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so that's what I think, man. I think people we get married, but I don't think they listen to what the pastor or the preacher or whoever you got. You might not even be a preacher or pastor. It might just be your homie.
Right.
But it says what is it?
Through sickness.
Through sickness or health. Right. And I know a guy. He was saying that he got into a situation in Iraq where he got blown up, and this lady left him. I ain't signed up to take care of no man.
Right. Yeah.
So when you said through sickness or health, this is the sickness part.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's. I think everybody, we in a now culture. They want everything. They want to.
It's microwave. It's
right.
Microwave culture.
You got women that say, I want a guy. He gotta have a car. He gotta have this. He gotta have that. He gotta have this. Okay, what you got? She ain't got no car. She's at home with her mama. I mean, so like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying get no bum. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you work with somebody.
Right.
If they working with you, you working with them.
Yeah.
But the problem is people done that in the past, and that person done burnt them when they got on their feet, they got up out of there. So I get it.
But you gotta take an opportunity. You gotta take a chance, because you never know. First, you hopefully you're in tune with God.
Right.
What you're praying for, this is what God is sending you. Like you said, you might be someone that, hey, today, they might not be up here. They may be down here, but I always believe that a good woman will build you up. A good woman will believe in your vision and where you're trying to go and help you get there.
Yeah. Love them where they at.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I look at it, I take sports into everything. So in basketball and football, we coach the kid where they at. I can't show a kid a 3-pointer if he can't make a layup. Right. So we're gonna start with the left. We're gonna start with the in between the legs, the basic right hand, left hand, and then we're gonna work our way up to shooting threes and doing all the other stuff. And that's kind of how the relationship sometimes. Like, I get it. Sometimes you might meet somebody that has everything and they check all your boxes. Right? Well, my wife, I don't believe in lucky. I believe in I was blessed.
Right.
And at the time I met her, people don't realize 3 weeks before that, I was laying on my grandma's bed crying, saying, I don't think I'm going to ever get married. Ain't nobody for me. And I was telling my grandma this, if she was here today, she would say, Tiras, you telling the truth. And she came in there and she said, I don't, you're going to meet somebody. There's somebody for you. And, 3 weeks later, I meet my wife. And, but I wasn't perfect when she met me. She built, she helped build me up and make me the man I am today. So I tell women that all the time, like single homegirls that I got, and they say, I need to meet a man like you, or where do I find a man similar to you at? And I'm like, you got to ask yourself, are you like my wife? Like, you know what I mean? She made me, she helped me. I can say baby, right. But she helped me become the man I am today, Yeah. Without her, I don't know where I am today. Honestly, I don't think, I don't know if I'd be here. in general without her. You know what I mean?
Good woman.
Because she's done so. She's done so much for me. She's prayed for me. You know what I mean? And we've just we've been through a lot in our 6 years of marriage, going on 7 years next August, and it's been amazing. And I tell people this, being married it's a beautiful thing when it's done right. If I think about the other women I was engaged to, had I got married to them, I don't see it working out the way that me and my wife, me and Sparkle, has worked out. So it worked out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, well, man, it's a beautiful story, man. And just again, God blessing, and He knew what you needed, and He knew what she needed, and He brought y'all together. So we'll leave it. If your love got conditioned right there. So what would you say to a young man watching my podcast, or a single mom, single dad out there? Because you have a lot of experience of working with kids, with some challenges. We'll say that. What words of encouragement we give a young man or a young woman out there today, and watch this podcast? What would you say to them to encourage them?
I would say talk to your kids. If they tell you something, like if a child tell you they don't want to go to college, then they don't want to go. I mean, now, just because you don't want to go to college, like my son has told me on multiple occasions, he don't want to go to college, and that's perfectly fine. But you still can go to school now, like you got some sense. You still gonna do your work. I'm still gonna set you up as if you're going to college. Now, with that being said, what do you want to do? So he wants to be a streamer, and I bought him all the stuff to do that. So I've sewn into that, but we also doing this other thing. So if you don't go to college, it's not because you won't be able to because of your grades. It'll be because you truly didn't want to.
Right.
But on the flip side, I'm setting you up in other areas, and also too, I told him, I said, even if you don't want to go to a traditional college, go to a 2-year college, because I mean you can use your GI Bill and get paid and different things. You know what I mean? So I would say listen to your kids, man. Kids these days are very smart. They're more prepared, and they know more about the outside. We didn't know nothing but what people told us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I come from the dial-up internet era where you couldn't be on the phone and be on the internet at the same time.
Right.
When somebody called for you, you sitting there waiting all day for a honey dip to call, and your mama on the phone and she calling, and you can't even, you know what I mean? You can't even talk to her because that might have been the one time she could get on the phone and the one time you can get on the phone, and your mama or her mama, somebody on the phone. Well, you got to, and I think that's another thing too. Like, I think that's how we learn manners is from, you call, hey, how you doing, Mr. Jones? You doing all right today? Yeah, I need to speak to Shaniqua or whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you won't call her up there, pick up the phone. Yeah, I need to talk to Shaniqua. Click. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that might be the reason why, but that would be the advice I give them. Listen to your kids, spend time with them, man. You ain't got to be rich, but I'll take my little man to the park, or I have a ninth grader. I say, hey, what you want to do, man? Let's go to the movies, or what restaurant you want to go to. Let's go to you want to go to one of your ramen places. I don't know. And we go there and we just talk, man. Have some boundaries, have some time set aside to where what. When you sit, we're gonna sit down at this dinner table. When we sit here, you can't have no phone. Just for this 30 minutes or 20 minutes, let's just be in the moment. And I tell kids that too. Like, you have to, it's just being there isn't enough. Just being present isn't enough. If you're gonna be present, then really be present. Really listen. You know what I mean? Like some, kids that be there, they be on their phone. They're not listening to half what you're saying. They're not. You know what I mean? Tell them, hey, put the phone up. I pay the bill, so
that's right.
You know what I mean? Put it up. And after these 15, 30 minutes we talking, find out how your day went, blah, blah, blah. Then, put the phone up. But that would be the advice I give them. Talk to your kids, listen, and so into whatever it is they want to do, man. If they want to play the drums, or if they want to be a streamer, a gamer. My niece, she does nails, and her parents have done a great job at buying her the nail stuff that she needs, a hair dryer, the mannequin with the fake, you know what I mean, the fake mannequin that she could do the nails, and now she got clients coming in and she making $34 whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know what you call it, appointment, I guess.
Right.
She's doing that, and then the other daughter, she makes candles. And you know, I don't know, she's seventh grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and she makes candles. And you know, like sow into your kids, man.
Yeah.
Because you make that initial investment. Okay, cool. Once I make that initial investment for you to make candles, once you start selling them, you got to start investing in yourself.
Right.
And we teach them that you got to invest in yourself, like to be able to do things. Like my son, he works a camera. He knows how to take pictures, and he does most of my recording for basketball games.
Okay.
And he gets paid to do it. You know, we pay him $40 that's his rate. I tell people that you got to pay him his rate. He makes $40 a game. I mean, you know, you figure you recorded for 2 hours, $20 an hour ain't bad.
Yeah, ain't bad. All right.
You know what I mean? So he does that, and he likes to do it. So you know, he's part of the Tirade Media team. You know what I mean? So, but that's it, man. Figure out what they like to do. So into whatever it is they doing, man. Like if you're like my son, my next thing for him is gonna be to buy him his own camera. So he could do things, and that's probably not this Christmas. That'll probably be next year. But
Okay. So what's next? What's on the horizon? Let's talk about your ministry, your media company, and just what in general. What's on the horizon for you and your family?
So on the horizon, ministry wise, like I said, we're ministers now. So obviously, at some point, you know, it'll probably be elders. I would assume, but you know, I'm thinking about talking to my pastor the other day. Thinking about going to Bible college and just getting, you know, deeper and rooted in the Word and learning a little bit more about like Bible history, theology, different stuff like that. So that's what's next on that front. Like I said, we got a lot of community events coming up. Coat Drive. We feed the homeless. January 31st. Operation In As Much. We partner with them, so we've been doing that every other month. Going in, me and a group of people, and it's a humbling experience, man. I recommend that everybody does it because it will humble you. You go in there what you're thinking you got it so bad. You go in there, you know what? I do not have it so bad.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I'm actually next time I'm taking my son with me.
Yeah, I have done that
because I want him to see
that.
You know, you got your own room, you got PlayStation, Xbox, gaming computer, Nintendo Switch. You ain't got it bad, buddy. There's people out here that this meal that they getting right now might be their only meal today. You know, they might get some, you know, ramen or something else later on or whatever, you know, somebody give them. But, you know, so that's what's next on that front, man. And then I would say, as far as media goes, man, definitely partnering with RJ on some more stuff, man. We got some, you know, we were just talking before we came in here about what we got going on the horizon. I'm so excited
I am
for what he's going to bring to the city of Fayetteville, basketball wise. And that's pretty much it, man. You know, like I said, we got the league. Come check us out every Saturday. TJ Robinson Life Center. 10:30 we start. Last game at 12:30. You know, it's just not pick up basketball. Just like a rec league, you know what I mean? Fayetteville. We went so long without a rec league, you know what I mean? And we bringing it back, man. Just basketball. No glitz, no glamour, just basketball. And we've been doing that, so.
Okay. So what's the name of your church? So people, if they, you know, want to sponsor you or help your church in any way, what's the name of your church and where they're located at?
Okay. Force of Life Fayetteville, 2415 Gary Street. Like I said, non-denominational church, man. Whatever you donate to us, it'll go directly to the cause. Like I said, man, we believe in just being in the community. Before COVID, we fed the homeless every week. I think it was every Wednesday.
Okay.
We call it every Wednesday or Thursday. We call it ARC, accountability, responsibility. And then that's just what we do, man. Like we just love giving back to the community, man. It's a lot of kids at our church, man. I would say, if we had 75 members, probably 40 of them is kids.
Oh, wow.
You know, I got 2 sons, and everybody probably got 3 or 4 kids, and you add that up, it's a lot. You know what I mean? And we got babies. We got a lot of babies. We got a nursery. We got children's church. So, you know, definitely if you bring, you know, your kids, it's one of those things where everybody's going to be fed at a different, you know, maybe not the nursery, you know what I mean? But, you know. But the children's church will be broke down to a level to where the 5-year-olds on up will be able to understand. And, of course, you know, the adults. Like I said, we about the community, man. We about helping people with everyday life so they can, you know what I mean, be at church, and so they can be doing different things.
Bro, that's what's up, man. Sounds good, man. But listen, man, I thank you for taking the time, coming on the Kelvis podcast, hanging out with us, man, dropping some of that good knowledge about them cars. So for y'all ready to go out there next year and get them cars, remember what my man said about those deals, making sure you get the right rate. Now, if you got that bad credit, you might have to work what you have to work with at 499, whatever. But that was some great knowledge, man. And just having the opportunity to sit down, man, just have a one-on-one conversation with you, man. I appreciate you coming through, man, and definitely this won't be our last time, man. I'm definitely going. What about your podcast, though? I'm gonna ask about are you doing anything with your podcast?
I kind of been doing it in spots, man. Main thing I've been doing now is Check the Rock podcast. But the main thing I've been doing now is talking to different coaches, man. So and trainers. So I talked to trainer Jarrell Bailey a couple of months ago. He has a good team mentality, elite. They pretty much going on a national schedule now. Me and him talked about that. And pretty soon I'll be talking to Westover coach, girls coach, Anthony Bennett. So
Okay.
me and him got something coming up pretty soon, man. And that's been the main thing, man. Talking to kind of my way of giving back to the community, putting out some of these basketball conversations, and just spread it. This is my way to kind of spread light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the basketball side of things.
That's what's up, man. But again, man, appreciate you coming through, brother.
Yeah.
As always, appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir.
And for more, like, share, and follow the Kelvis podcast. And what I say, peace out.